to your daily dose, international yachting, sailing, and boating news for Thursday, June 2nd. If you like what you see or hear, please subscribe. If you have a story or a suggestion, please do feel free to reach out to us at info@yachtinginternationalradio.com. And now for today's news. In Antigua, you know hurricane season is imminent when the super yachts disappear from the horizon. This year, 3 super yachts seem to be going nowhere. Currently docked at English and Falmouth harbors, the 120 million 82-meter Alfa Nero super yacht, Halo, and Explorer yacht Garçon look to be staying right where they are for the moment. It seems that these 3 super yachts fall under the sanctions list, and although they haven't been officially seized, Antigua and Barbuda are following the warnings of the US and EU, which means that they aren't supplying fuel, thus making it impossible for the super yachts to go anywhere, even if they could. The captains are afraid that they could lose their captain's license if they attempt to move the super yachts, and marina officials are barred from receiving docking fees. Sir Ronald Sanders, Antigua and Barbuda's ambassador to the US, has stated that an advisory had been sent to all ports and harbors in the country, and no business should be done with any sanctioned company's person or their property. The issue that creates the stalemate is that the islands have no sanction laws, which means local authorities cannot seize the yachts unless their owners commit a crime in Antigua or Bermuda. Britain would have to make a mutual legal assistance treaty request, or MLAT, to pave the way for any action to be initiated. However, no such request has been made at this time. The fate of these 3 super yachts remain to be seen. Set to begin on June 13th, the Race to Alaska is one of the most challenging endurance sailing races in the world. With 38 teams competing, the 1,200-kilometer endurance race has 2 rules: no motors and no outside help. Starting in Port Townsend, Washington, and ending in Ketchikan, Alaska, the teams will overcome unpredictable weather, wildlife, and exhaustion, using only the sails of their boat to navigate the Pacific. One team, the Kootenai Pedal Wheelers, a group of 6, are aiming to be the first Canadian team to win. Doug Kennedy, one of the team, has sailed the globe through Scandinavian waters, crossing the Atlantic from the coast of Morocco to the Caribbean, and more. Blackmore calls the race the anti-yacht race, the race for the everyman. His team is competing in a 10-meter Flying Tiger sailboat, with Blackmore describing the boat as a race car chassis with nothing but engine. Inside the small hull is a space for extra sails, supplies, and 2 sleeping berths. Teams have 48 hours to travel 64 kilometers from Port Townsend to Victoria, BC, or be disqualified. Then the journey to Alaska with only 1 mandatory check-in at Bella Bella, BC. If the boat is damaged, they fix it themselves. If they run out of food, they have to find a place to resupply. Blackmore's team is aiming to finish the race in 5 days, and with the race in 2019 having only 25 out of 45 teams complete the journey, just making it to Alaska is a win. Wishing them fair winds and following seas, and we will update you on the outcome. The cruise industry is gearing up as 365 cruise ships are set to sail in June. The 3 largest cruise lines, Carnival, Royal Caribbean, and Norwegian, all have their full fleets back in operation. 83 cruise brands are set to operate in June, with the industry adding approximately 25,000 berths back into service around the world. The numbers have increased dramatically from just a year ago, as only 28 brands and 74 ships with just 85,262 berths in service were operational. The world's first offshore charging points for wind farm vessels will be in operation as early as this summer, thanks to the UK government. The UK's Offshore Renewable Energy Catapult Incubator announced last week that it has selected 5 offshore wind projects to share about 4.1 million US in funding, including an offshore charging point system designed by MJR Automation. The same project won additional support from the UK Department for Transport's Clean Maritime Demonstration competition last year. The project partners will design, build, and test an electric charging station affixed to the base of a wind turbine at the UK's Lynn and Innerdowsing offshore wind farms. The system will leverage the turbine structure's existing electrical connections and platform in order to provide a shore power connection for battery-equipped surface vessels. When an electric crew transfer vessel docks with the turbine, a cable reel will lower down a cable that will plug into the vessel and charge the battery on board. The objective is to increase the operational range of electric CTVs, improving their utility and encouraging greater uptake in the offshore wind industry. The hope is that the increase of electrical charging points for offshore support vessels will encourage vessel owners to also switch to fully electric or hybrid vessels. Nothing worse than thinking you are an internationally recognized DJ only to turn up at the latest gig you have been hired to perform at and be turned away at the dock because your name isn't on the guest list, nor does security recognize you. Such is the case for Diplo recently. Seems that Diplo was hired to DJ a party on board a yacht in Cannes. And when he showed up to perform, he was left dockside, considering taking the L and leaving to go eat. Eventually, however, the owner of the yacht showed up and told security to let him in. Diplo is part of the group Major Lazer and was nominated for a Grammy for Best Dance Electronic Music Album earlier this year. I guess you can't blame him or the yacht's owner for thinking he may be recognizable. Don't forget to tune in this evening at 1800 CET for your 5 minutes of self-care on board with Geraldine Hardy, or our all-new feature Beauty on Board with Voyage International Beauty at 1900 CET, and at 2000 CET, meet Nikki Vo, aka the Boat Princess out of Australia. This has been your daily dose of yachting, sailing, and boating news for Thursday, June 2nd. Thanks for tuning in. If you like what you hear or see, please do hit the subscribe button. And if you have any suggestions, questions, or news that you would like to share, please send us an email at info@yachtinginternationalradio.com. My name is Ria. I have been your host, and I will see you back here tomorrow morning at 0600 CET, midnight EST. Have a wonderful day.